Southway?
You're gonna call him his brother? Mr. Mayor, we do have, an item under other that we need to add regarding South Fairway.
Utilities, I
Yep.
see the description.
Yep, that has to get discussed tonight.
Okay.
And so just, if you just wanna add, you know, Mark has the info here.
Okay. Does it involve money?
It does.
Then it's not being discussed.
It's in the contingency. Nothing else.
Well, I guess that's why they call it contingency, right? Sounds like the lot just got more expensive.
Unless they found some water source coming up from
Sure.
hell.
Yeah. Rather it be like gold, but you know.
Yeah, it never works that way.
Oh darn, this gold's in the way.
Oh, okay, inspection for the untapped oil source.
Yeah.
Some Beverly Hillbillies kind of stuff.
Would it be advantageous to talk about South Fairway before we get into the budget?
You have the right to change the agenda, how do you so choose?
So do I need to make a motion to?
Oh, don't give him that
Do I
much
need to make
power.
a motion to then
You can add item,
amend the agenda?
4A, yeah, you can add item 4A and amend it if you'd like. Yeah, absolutely, that's up to you.
Oh, okay.
It's in the,
Oh, you don't have your thingy.
I'm on. All right. We are going to call the City Council meeting of August 18th, 2026 to order. Let's please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, moving on to item number 3, approving the agenda. I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to have item number 6, other business, South Fairway Utilities, brought up to 4A prior to the discussion of the 2027 budget.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda and to move number 6, other business, to 4A.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? In favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 4, looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? In favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to item 4A, other business, South Fairway Estates Utilities. Mark has an update.
Okay, what we're looking at here is there's one change order we've discussed already is moving this line further north. It was causing conflicts. That's change order 1 you're getting. When they dug here, as previously dug, it's 32 feet, had issues. We had planned to stop right, here's New Bogey, right here. After seeing the troubles we're having here, if we're gonna do this again next year, we have a good price this year. We're worried we're gonna lose this side walking into the road here. Cause it's, once foliar soils are dug. Extended another, I guess, 144 feet here. And then we're gonna put a blow-off hydrant here. It's gonna be the existing one we took from here, so not a lot for that, just the reducer. So what we're looking for tonight would be change order 2. The paperwork will not be here for you to approve until September 1st meeting, but what we decide tonight, the work is gonna be done in the next week or 2. So if we say yes tonight, we can't say no next week, is where I'm at. It's gonna happen, if these lots sell, it's gonna happen next year, year after probably.
And what we're trying to do is avoid that conflict with a new owner there and having to dig and work and coordinate that.
We're gonna get all the way past lot 1 or whatever that is, the people's yard, cause seeing how the 32-foot hole, how much it's caving out there, it would get out of everyone's way.
Okay.
We're likely gonna do phase 2 if this works out the way you guys anticipate, we all hoping it works out. You know.
So this would have to be done regardless.
If we do phase 2.
If we do phase 2, and it's better and cost effective to do it now than dig it up and do it later.
And we have a good price this year, you know, that is one thing we had.
So, that is the change order, the impact is presented to you there? I don't know if you need to
Is
explain
this
that
change
more.
order 1 and 2 or just number 2?
No, this is 2. Number 1 was a separate, it was like 40,000 on each one, but we had 110 in contingency. So I believe in the.
I know the engineer did say we do still have contingency funds, we did not go through them all, so it is still in the budget.
Sure.
Now, we can't say what else is gonna happen, we don't know that for sure, but that's why you have contingency funds.
Right, yep. Which almost always get used, so.
So I would recommend we do a motion to approve that,
Yep.
just so that we're clear, and they're really close to getting to that point, so they can do that very quickly.
Any other comments,
There'll be
questions?
no official paperwork till the September 1st meeting, though, you understand that. This is because go back to Ellen Marnica. They're already under the force main, unless you don't have it, that's fine.
I do, I just have to.
That's fine.
Since I
They're
have-
already under the force main and at Bogey and coming back towards the County 51, there's a jog there we had to do.
Sure.
Right where the word Bogey is. They're
Yep.
at that manhole today coming back to 51. So I mean, they wanna turn and go east and do it while they had to get a special box in. There was a delay out there, way over there on the left where I was pointing. They had to get I've never seen one before, it's a slider box, a safety box. It's got like pieces that actually come up with it as they go. So they would have to do that again likely next year. And if somebody knows that, we're gonna pay, I don't know, extra, so.
Sure.
So we're still coming back south, but then we're gonna go east.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, the line will make that jog there.
Okay.
There's nothing we could do.
So that quote, the total's 44,000, whatever.
For that, extending it 144 feet and adding
And keep in mind, we would have done this leg,
Right.
next
the
year.
second phase either
Correct.
way.
Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
makes more sense to do it now than.
We're out of people's yard.
Yep.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, yeah.
So
You
do
need
we need to make a
a motion
motion,
or
or is that
just
just
a
a
memo
blessing for now and
understanding?
motion when we get the paperwork?
That's fine, as long as I have it on the record that there is a consensus of the council to proceed.
Is there not a consensus?
I
So we're-
believe it's gotta be, to
If
be
it's-
appropriate
Okay.
and efficient.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right. Great, thanks. Moving on to item number 5, which is why we're all here, discussion of the 2027 budget. We're gonna start with the city investment update.
Okay, that's me.
Okay, under, I'll bring that up on the page here.
Are these different than what was provided in the packet?
Yes, well, this is what came out electronically, it was updated Monday, so use what was at your council
Okay.
station, please.
Okay, for our year-to-date investments, they're looking good so far this year. A lot of our investments, both with Northland and, with Falcon, are in CDs, which are a set rate for a specific amount of time, so those are very consistent. Northland, we have about $1 million of investments in there. Our year-to-date is about 26,800, and it's estimated to be about a little over 40 at the end of the year. Cetera, we have about 1.2 million in investments in there. The year-to-date, the first quarter of 2026 was not great with Cetera. So you can see on this report, 2025, our interest was very good on that. But then the first quarter, it dipped, and then second quarter, we've been recovering. So it was about 2,500 loss for the first quarter, and then about 1,900 recovered in second quarter. And I anticipate it to continue throughout the rest of the year and come back in the positive. Our another IntraFi account is about 2 million, and our year-to-date interest was just under $39,000. And then another investment at Falcon and IntraFi account is about 8 million, and that year-to-date interest is about 122,000. So overall, for the first half of the year, interest is looking very good.
Good. Thank you. Questions for Monica about our city investment update? Hearing none. Moving on to the city debt update.
That might be towards the end, before the CIP. And do you want blue?
Oh, you said before the CIP?
Yep, it's in between after.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got it.
Did you want me to do that?
Oh.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
No, okay. Okay, I can do that, that's fine. I'm sorry, putting numbers in my head. Okay, so we have, this is the debt service we have on, we have, right now, we have 4 running, and then there also is the, wastewater as well. The wastewater one is not closed and finalized yet.
Mm.
That kinda keeps being added to, so it's not really in a, it's in repayment, cause we still have to repay portions, but it's not completely closed out yet.
Okay.
We do have a couple coming off, which is why we're not calling for levies in a couple funds, you notice on the front page. And that is, because we anticipate adequate cash to come in from funds. Once a bond fund closes or we paid off, we transfer it into another bond fund. And some collections do better than others. We have one that's carrying a more significant cash balance, it just did better in collections. Cause you always levy an extra 5% every year, that's required, recommended by law. And so we have some extra cash that'll transfer in. And so we're always monitoring and adjusting those levies as needed based on the cash flows. But obviously we have the big new one we put on for the north side, that's a 20-year. And the schedule actually, when we structure them, doesn't necessarily mean the bond shrinks, because sometimes we start them low and then we build them up so that they wrap around our entire debt service. The goal is to try to keep your debt service levies as consistent as possible. That's easier for the taxpayers. You know, we don't wanna have all these fluctuations of $500,000 coming in and out. It just makes it really hard to budget for. But yeah, we will have, 15 and then the 2020A coming off in the next couple years. But then they're being replaced by larger levies on the 2025. But kinda shows you what we have outstanding, and then keep in mind there'll be another roughly 13 million on the sewer side, and that kind of is addressed during audit, you'll see that on that report. But I anticipate that loan is, I think it's 13.3 million is the full we can borrow, and we will borrow the full because we're going to draw on it for the decommissioning as well.
Sure.
Any questions on debt? We follow the schedules provided, once we lock them in, we do a little bit of fluctuation with levies, but not really much, we just follow what's committed and what the schedules tell us to do.
So 15 and 18 will be coming off soon.
Yeah, I think
15 and 2028.
2028.
20,
We refunded that one a number of years
That's
ago.
right.
That's Pine Street and Glen. Yeah, so those are the next ones to come off. 18's got some time yet, and 2025 obviously has a lot of time.
Yeah.
So. Questions?
So with the 2 that are coming off, what you're saying is we would continue to levy those same dollars and just roll that into the other extended or longer period ones?
The other bond will call for larger levies. So we have them scheduled. When you get those full payment, the approvals, when we approve the bond, you'll see what the coupons are in every year.
Yeah.
So the levies will grow on the 2025. The 2025 wrapped around our existing debt, and as those drop off, then we're covering more of the 2025 with those funds. And so the idea is to try to keep that consistent. You do have to increase over time when that happens, but the hope is that you'll have some additional tax base too
Sure.
make those levies. But we try to keep things as consistent as possible. We have a whole monster spreadsheet stuff that we work on with our fiscal advisor to make sure we're wrapping and trying to keep things as consistent as possible.
So the only thing that would change on this debt schedule would be the addition of the wastewater project that just hasn't closed yet.
I don't have it on there because it's actually within the enterprise fund. This is all general obligation debt.
Okay,
I can certainly put it on there, but it's not closed yet. Usually I don't like to put it on the debt schedule. It's not a debt service fund until the construction closes.
right,
It's a project fund. And it's within the enterprise fund, so it's actually part of the operational within there.
okay.
I mean, we
But
certainly can
when
add
it closes, it will be added to this,
We can add it if you want us to. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
only when it closes,
Yeah, it's not closed yet.
so we can wait.
So what'll happen is once it closes, we'll get a firm schedule. We'll know what everything is.
Okay.
Right now, it changes every year
Okay,
because of the interest and the draws.
so hypothetically, next year when we're budgeting, that would show on here, granted it's closed.
I hope so.
Okay.
But if the pond decommissioning is not
Oh,
done,
sure,
it will not be closed. I mean, that's been hanging out for quite a while. We actually filled out extension paperwork on it
Okay.
because it's been hanging out so long.
are we making principal and interest payments on that right now?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yep. Which is why you're still seeing us, monitor those cash flows within the, sewer fund, because we just did it. How much was the last one, Mark? Do you remember? The last
payment?
Yeah, we just did it's due in the summer. I think it's supposed to be about 700,000 in principal a year.
Okay,
Yeah.
759 or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
well, that's good, I guess it's good to know that we're at least currently paying down principal. I mean, I know a majority of it's interest, but,
I don't know if you have to, but I know we preferred that when we set that up.
yeah,
Because we don't want this to, interest will just
right,
kill you otherwise.
adds to the project.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Any other questions? Thank you for the city debt update. Moving on to the operational budget overview. You just wanna work it from the top, general fund?
It's up to you
Council?
guys, yeah.
Let's do it.
Start with any questions, concerns, comments on, we'll say page 1, general fund revenues. And of course, Sarah or other members of the city chime in on anything that you'd like to make known.
I think the biggest change on the revenue for the general, it's a rental license inspection year. So, that always, it's in and out essentially, cause we charge the fees to pay the inspector, and to cover our admin costs. But just make a note of that, and it's not in, a regular year, it's every 3, so. And then, we do not have a budgeted significant increase in police aid, even though if we were to add a full-time officer, that is delayed by a year when you get the police aid.
Okay.
So, that will not, if that were to happen this year, it would not be reflected in police state aid until next year.
And what
Or
would be
28.
the approximate addition to that number?
So-
Why adding a full-time?
So that number, the 55 is based off of 4. So it's about 13,750 per officer.
Okay.
We don't get an exact aid amount. It fluctuates every year, but it's usually about the same or a little more.
Okay,
So that number you should see increase. And we haven't gotten any updates, have we, on any changes to that? It's been pretty consistent. But you have to, what is the minimum number of months they need to work? 6. Okay. They have to work 6 months to be eligible for a portion of that aid. If it's less than 6 months, it's 0.
okay. Chief Katie, would you speak to the donations fluctuating year over year?
The donations fluctuate, that's just, if we get them, we get them. Some are down, like in, this year we got from, I'm drawing the blank, the Veterans Brigade.
Oh, okay.
Yep, they put a big, so that's new this year. The chili cook-off is new this year, but that's not guaranteed
Sure.
because we won the chili cook-off, that's how we got that money, but, so it fluctuates.
Great. Anything else on police department?
No.
Building inspection, not much to comment there. Building permits. Would we expect to see an increase in building permits given our growth trajectory?
Yeah, I don't know how fast they're gonna go, so I'm kind of assuming a few homes and then a few homes, but I can't say for certain. I do, that revenues, I pair it up with the expenditures of the building official too. So if I'm under on revenues, I'm gonna be under on it's gonna
Sure.
increase proportionally because the building official gets paid based off of the fees.
Right.
So it's not too concerning if we're off. If we have a great year, like, I don't expect another county permit to come in. That's the once probably in a lifetime.
Right.
But keep in mind, when those big permits or more permits come in, a lot of the money does go back to the building official. But we do make some too.
Okay.
And, you know, it also, like, we can have years, we had those record years of roofs and siding. Well, that was nothing like we had ever seen.
right.
But, you know, sometimes you can't control all the permits.
Okay. Anything else from council around building inspections, street departments, or park departments?
That number for county maintenance, that hasn't moved in a few years. Is that just, we negotiate with them at that, or?
Was that what did we recently
We do
negotiate?
3-year agreements on it.
3-year, okay.
It must be,
I think it might be due coming up.
Oh,
if 25 had it, yeah. 5, 6, 7.
okay.
Yeah.
What other agreements do we have
As-
with as far as like county state aid and such? Do we do anything else, or is it just that one agreement we have for revenues? Because I do recall, I thought we did just renegotiate,
I thought that was last year.
right? Doesn't that
Yeah.
feel familiar?
It's a.
Or is that a
usually
different agreement?
It's a multi-year agreement.
Or
Well,
was
we
that the
did
fire
have,
department agreement?
Or it could be, you might be thinking of the construction agreement with the North Side Project. That's a county state aid road agreement for construction, that's a little
Yeah.
different. And they reimburse us.
Did we recently negotiate something with like the other like townships where when we respond to fire calls?
No.
We're on 2.5 year right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
3.
Okay. Leave it at that. Anyone else? Continuing on with general fund, it goes into a little bit more of the parks there. Park dedication fee for the South Fairway Estates. So $1,500, what would that?
Park dedication?
We're talking $1,500 to help make a park?
Correct. So every building permit requires a park dedication fee.
Okay.
If we anticipate new home construction, we will charge that park dedication fee.
So are we talking $1,500 per home?
No, $150 per home is what the ordinance requires.
Okay.
So it's a little bit unusual, in the fact that, we're doing the developing on our own. A lot of times they provide the land for the park. There's an option to do cash, there's an option to do like in lieu. This is kind of an unusual situation because we are doing the developing.
Okay.
So, you can look at changing the code if you'd like, that is what's in there right now.
Okay.
And it varies depending on the project, like a multifamily project is different than a single family home. Because a
Right.
lot of times the developer puts in stuff ahead of the actual sale of the lots and such too.
Yeah, well, in some multifamilies too, we can require.
It is, there is a fee, that's what's,
Well, required to put in a,
yep, you have to do
A
either
park.
land dedication or some improvements, or you have to do a fee.
Okay.
Cash in lieu, or they call it, cash in lieu is what we call it.
okay,
But our stuff is, it's dated, I'm not saying, however, development's been a little sluggish, so we haven't been in a hurry to change some of the fees.
sure.
But that's up to you.
Whew, okay, I'll put a asterisk by that one. Cause that would be a different meeting altogether as far as revisiting ordinance or fee structure, correct?
Yeah, that's within the ordinance, yeah, and the fees, yep.
And but that fee is paid by the builder? Or
The park dedication fee is paid with the permit.
Okay.
Do you know when we put that in, Mark? I mean, cause I wanna say Lang Estates had it, right? So it's been in place for 20 years, 20 plus years.
Yes, I believe
30, let's see what that would.
So like, if you're just kind of backing up, the city as the developer did provide the land for the park.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That would be, the main push for the park.
Yep.
It's because we're the developer, there's just not, we're essentially not getting anything, to put the playground or whatever in.
Yeah.
We provided the land, so, yeah, it's kind of a weird situation.
Sure. Okay. Any other comments on?
That's something we could look at in the future.
Well, I mean,
Would
while
that
while we're
be-
developing and building, I mean,
Yeah.
beyond us, so.
Would that have to go through planning commission?
Should.
Okay.
You make note of that then for
Yep.
one of your upcoming meetings. We can say that about a lot of our fees, correct? They're a little dated and could use a little,
Yeah, we
Just-
did the building permit fees a few years ago, so I wouldn't recommend doing anything with that. And keep in mind, we make a change, so I've advertised the lots and these fees already, so we'd have to address that if we are in negotiation on those lots, some of the, I've relayed
Right,
information
right.
that.
all right. We'll move into then. How about breaking even on revenues? Expenses? Same cadence, if there's anything that anyone would like to highlight or comment or ask questions about, please speak up.
Property insurance and workman's comp and employee insurance, that's always gone up.
Yeah.
We can't do anything about that.
One thing I'll mention about the insurance, just like every year, we don't have our final numbers from the health insurance until later in the season, so
Yep.
we're estimating. We did get numbers back from our insurance broker that what they're leaning towards for the year was, across the country, was about 12%. That could be the average, and some places are 20 and some places are 10. We don't know. We did take that 12% and rolled the 12% into our numbers for health insurance and dental or insurance across the board, just so that we had built in an increase into the numbers. But it's not a guarantee that it'll be at that 12%, and we won't know that until probably mid to late October.
The other thing I'm gonna comment about insurance, that we've seen some stabilizing in the work comp, particularly in the public safety or police, like work comp for post or PTSD. They've made some changes to that program, but what we cannot control is the valuations on our buildings, and we did have an appraisal recently done. We're required to do so. And even we questioned some of the values. I know Mark had a few questions, and they won't even let us lower the values even though we think they're too high. on some instances. So sometimes we don't have a choice in what, the league will insure us at for values, and our costs of our structures and things have gone up just like everyone else's structures have gone up too. So that's driving up premium increases for us too.
Right, I mean, every employer, is faced with the same challenges.
So I think it's it's both
Yep.
factors. But we were pleased with what we're seeing on the work comp side, that is leveling out and is more manageable than, we had a couple very tough years, just because of some of those things that happened after COVID.
Expenses. If you don't mind, I do wanna back up just one moment. I had a note on here about the year-to-dates to the current year-to-date to year-to-date budget, and just, we're, 3 months left of the year, and we're off, nearly $200,000 to what was budgeted. Now, some of that I'm sure is reflective of lowered expenses, if we have lower revenues coming in from some of these areas, but, interest, we're at, 19,000 versus 30,000. Reimbursable expenses for police department, 15,000 versus expected budget of 60,000, or 59,000, sorry. I mean, anything as far as a concern with some of these larger numbers and why we're off
You wanna comment on
year-to-date versus
interest?
budget
The
for
year-
this year?
The year-to-dates for, these are actually the end of June, so it would be the
Okay.
first half of the year, not through today's date.
Okay,
Just because, especially with revenues, we're getting revenues from July water usage now. Or,
Sure.
we're not on water, but as an example, we get revenues after the fact. So these numbers will show just the first half of the year. If there's a specific one that you wanted to look at, we can see why those wouldn't be.
I will just
Up to
make a
date.
comment on interest. We don't book the CD interest. It's not every month, it's only when it's paid,
okay,
and that's at year end. So audit has us book all those spreadsheets as of the end of the year. Cause it's not considered technically yours until
Right.
it's paid out.
sure.
So some of the interests that are in there, would be just our interest that we're earning on savings accounts, not our overall
Okay,
interest earned on CDs and investments.
Yeah, like CDs, they don't necessarily pay out until the term.
Score funds, is that something we still expect to get paid, just maybe not till the end of the year?
Yeah, score.
That was up towards the top there.
Yep, score funds, did we submit reimbursements yet on that, Mark? Thought we did for the cleanup.
Cleanup day, we haven't done anything with compost yet.
Okay,
I know
But
we
that'll kinda
submitted
be
for cleanup
reflected
day.
in on, if we have the
Did it?
expense,
I don't-
there'll be the 75% reimbursement.
Okay.
If it isn't the expense, it'll.
then there.
I will have to
then-
follow up on cleanup day, because I think we submitted, but it can take a couple months for the county sometimes to prove it, so.
And then, Chief Katie, with the reimbursable expenses, I mean, it looks like 25, you did about 58,000, you're expecting 58,000 this year. Do you still see getting reimbursable expenses? I mean, again, those are reimbursable if you only spend the money, right?
So a majority of that reimbursable expense is the SRO contract with
Okay.
the school, and we did just receive their payment for the second quarter.
Okay,
And so that 14,400 reflects just the first quarter,
okay,
and, so we still would have 3 more quarters that would be included in that.
great.
Good question, so.
All right, that's all I had on
Yep.
the topic of year-to-date to budget. Then continuing back with expenses, for general expenses, was there any other questions then from council on what we're looking at here from a expenses standpoint, both this year as well as budget?
I was looking at the Humane Society, and I know that like $500 in the grand scheme of the budget isn't a lot, but what if we lowered that because clearly not being used as often.
Well,
Funny I bring that up.
it's funny you bring that up. Well, because they don't bill consistently,
Oh,
and I don't think we've gotten a bill from them in a few months, and I know you had some animals go.
Yeah, I got in last week or two, I have for sure 2 emails of people that cats have been turned in there and asking
Okay.
for our approval. But yeah, I don't see the bills part, but.
It's,
okay,
it comes all in like, it'd be like 3-4 months at a time.
Yeah, it is very inconsistent,
okay.
so.
I'm not saying that I'm concerned about going over the amount, I don't think we've had that many,
Yeah,
but
it's just a thought.
you would be a better gauge if you're getting complaints. And the PD usually gets the front of that.
The comment was made here, very high with South Fairway for the engineering fees near the bottom there. I mean, it's lower than it has been over the couple of years. Is it just that it continues to stay high because of the continuous projects?
Well, it's 51,000 when we're budgeted for 50,
Yep.
and that's only halfway through the year.
Okay,
And so there's a lot more coming yet, and
but because of South Fairway?
yes. So like South Fairway's all in the general fund, whereas like the lead service is all in the water fund.
Okay.
But that's the big, general planning, zoning, that kind of stuff will be in that account, and then South Fairway, mapping stuff, general kind of stuff, but it's
Okay.
very high but it was high the prior year too for the same. But it's just over budget, that's why I want you to know why it's over budget.
Perfect.
But we're doing good on legal.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I talk really fast when I talk to him. And I'll comment professional services, audit, GASB, every year they add another standard, and every year the audit price goes up, so I don't know what to tell you, and it's just regulatory compliance.
Well, it's not gonna get less, is what you're saying.
No.
So,
And I think we have we're very lucky that we have a very smooth audit and a good relationship, and we've had some stability there.
And again, the year-to-date, that only went through June, and we did have to request, when we had some issues with our emails, that was one of the things that didn't come through, was the invoice
Yeah.
for our audit.
So it's there now.
2025, so it is in our budget now.
okay,
And one of the things that we noticed this year with our audit fees for the amount of open projects
Yep.
still,
Yeah, we got
increased
charged.
the cost significantly.
So they charge us because there's so many extra entries and things that we have to do, they have to check, and, when you have all these projects that stay open for so long. So they did charge us extra for that. Cause there's just a lot of paperwork involved in it all over the place, because there's so much tied to state funding too, so we have to do all these other steps.
all right, moving on to police department,
Well,
or,
equipment CIP, I mean, that's up quite a bit from last year.
That is up, if you look in the CIP, we're running a deficit. And so if you go to this general fund, we'll get there, otherwise,
Yep.
we're trying to get that fund in the positive, or closer to the positive. But based on,
Would you like to see that?
yeah, you wanna go to that page?
yeah, sure.
Okay, so look, general. And I think I mentioned in the memo, we kicked some stuff we didn't wanna kick,
Yep.
like the facility plan. So you can see what's all listed under 2027. So we basically take where the cash balance is at, what we plan to spend the rest of the year, what we plan to spend next year, and what we levy, we try to cover it. Unfortunately, we spend all the money we levy every year in the CIP and then some, so it just keeps fluctuating, we don't really get ahead. To get ahead, we'd have to levy like 290,000 consistently for many years.
So that 100,000 is just based off of what we plan to spend for 27
What's left
Plus-
for 26,
plus, so what's left of 26 plus 27?
and so I have to levy enough to try to get that fund as close to positive as possible. So
Mhm.
you'll see it's a little bit negative, $8,000 in that. And we don't really have any other funding sources for that. You know, we have, like in our streets fund, we have some franchise fees. We have some city assist that comes in from the state. We get a little more funding from other sources, not in the general fund. There's really no other sources of funding besides a levy.
Is that status quo, or is there something we could be doing differently from a general fund standpoint?
I don't know of anything else. I mean, it's general fund, that's usually what it means. It's a essential levy type of activity.
Yeah.
They don't, you know, it doesn't generate enough revenue to classify it as any other type of fund. We did have the one-time influx of public safety, we did a couple years ago, but that was about it. That was a one-time, the legislature just, I think, was that when the surplus happened?
Right, yeah.
But I do not anticipate that to come.
No.
They have other issues.
Yep.
So,
Okay. And obviously, we'll circle back to CIP.
Yeah.
So then, for expenses for police department, so am I understanding the math correctly here? We would exit our permanent part-time, so it goes from 80 to 68.
Mm-hmm.
Increase our full-time, so we go from well, it shows only 4,045 to 420, so is the difference in adding this full-time person just $16,000?
Yes, yeah, cause it would be 60, cause there's the extra in there that we had anyway, and then, yeah.
Does some of the money from the state aid, the police state aid, that helps offset, or
not this year,
not this year? Okay.
next year. Maybe you wanna just elaborate how you do the salaries too.
So I do have a spreadsheet where I take each employee, their salaries and the amount, of our contract, especially the union employees, the contracted COLA for each year, and then also their steps. So calculate those all through all of the different employees, and then are able to get a gauge on what that number would be. Certain things we aren't able to account for, it would not show up in the salaries, but for example, insurance, we can't know what the new person's family structure would be to know what they would require for insurance, or their age or anything like that. So we wouldn't know that going in for those types of increases. But typically we know that they would start around certain steps to start them in the process.
And sometimes, when we bring on somebody, you know, somebody that may be at the max schedule versus step 1 or 2, you know, that can change this too. And so sometimes there's a shuffling of salaries depending on where we're at. When we have somebody leave and somebody else replace them. I think it's been a couple years since we've had when's the last time we had a full-time? When did Cody start?
Cody started in 23.
Okay, it's been a few years since we've had one. But like hiring somebody, I think we just picked like an average, kind of just to
Sure.
the best guess.
And is that includes your salary as well?
Yes.
Okay.
And for the part-time year to date, The months that we use a lot of part-time is August, November, and December. So that's, a lot will come out of that, so.
Okay.
You may look at it and say, oh, it's only 33,000, or, 34,000 of part-time from year to date, but it's coming, so.
And you have the job posted for the full-time officer?
No, for that would have to go, since for the permanent part-time is part of the union. So in order to be in compliance with the union laws, you have to, any promotion or any job openings, you have to post internal first.
Okay.
And so that would leave it to be, Mitchell's the only other one who's permanent part-time, so then if he wants full-time, so he gets the first pick.
Okay. So is the expectation then that we would have that person effective 1/1/27?
Yes.
The council would approve the budget, yes.
Okay.
And legal fees are higher, and that's because of that ordinance enforcement we had to have legal assist us with. And I have a note, I have to look into the telephone. I noticed that it seems higher than usual,
But it's going down, because we've migrated.
so it will, so maybe I'm not worried then.
It was higher at the beginning, but it's been coming down now that we
Okay.
changed to their systems. It's
Okay.
less. Should be. Is your internet slow? What's up?
Mhm.
How do we feel about the vehicle maintenance repair now that we have 2 brand-new squad cars?
Yeah, they are running, the 2025 is 3,000 miles until it's off of warranty. And then the 2026 is at 17,000 miles now, so that has some time, but, they are running great, and I mean, I know there'll be the regular maintenance of brakes and tires and our oil changes, but I don't foresee any issues.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that even 8,000 for a budget of for 27 is, I'd like to think it's high, considering we're only at $1,500 this year on a budget of 10,000. I know we're only halfway through the year, but hoping to see that trend as far as
Yeah.
being well below budget on vehicle maintenance.
And it's been quite a few years before I had no issues with, so I'm not,
Yeah.
don't know what to expect.
Okay.
And brakes alone are a couple thousand, so.
You said what, the 2025?
Has 3,000 miles until warranty's off. Yeah. 3,000.
Okay.
Cause it's a 3-year or 36,000 mile warranty.
We didn't buy the extended warranty? Okay.
Our backup is doing good too.
Yep, they used it to get over to the fair when we contracted with the fair, and, yeah.
Anything else with, for Chief Katie on police department? Anything for building inspections or street department? Any street concerns, Mark?
Anyway,
Any street concerns?
no, I think this was agreed upon. I always love more street maintenance, but when you have a budget like that, you can't.
Snow equipment repair, just, it happens.
Yeah, and that's why we update, it's kinda how we have 2 lines, we talked about combining, 220 and 407. But we just took some from 407 and, moved it up, so So really, it's only 1,000 increase. Took 5 from down below, put it up on top, and then added one more 1,000.
Yeah.
So it's where we coded under which vehicle.
Any other comments on, street expenses or anything with Parks Department? Cleaning's pretty self-explanatory.
Our cleaning lady's awesome, so.
Hire the woodchucks.
About on track. I mean, at least halfway through the year, unless there's anything outstanding, I mean, we're at least trending about on track for budget for 26.
Some of it's kinda hard too we spend a lot more money in the summer months. And like even our revenues like come in later in the summer, so it's hard to, we take a half year, cause it's kinda for the department heads to kinda rough it, but, a lot of stuff comes in July and August too. So, it's,
Alright. So the $300,000 then is where we come up with the 14% levy?
I mean, the general fund is always the
Yeah.
highest, and then when you have another staffer coming in, that's gonna add to it. There's just not any significant revenue sources.
Right.
That's just general fund, okay.
Yep. I don't like this double sign. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. So we're moving in.
Note to self.
So this goes into revenues and expenses of the next departments, like EDA is next.
EDA? Yep. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
So for the council's sake, we did get an agreement prepped, and that is in the HERP's hands right now to finish out that contract for deed. So I have that budgeted the same, and we would actually get that done sooner. But since we already have been budgeted at 145, I kept it the same and framed that contract around that amount. So it's like 3.5 years to finish that off. And then the other notable change is just, we still have some downtown revitalization or the facade. We still have some money in that fund, so I did lower that by 10,000. So those are kind of the main changes. The rest of the stuff is pretty straightforward.
yeah. And when is Herbst paid off? Is that gonna, in
So it should
2030?
be 2030, and it's
Okay.
a smaller payment in 2030, so it's like 145, 145, 145, and then the remaining, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's not near, it's a smaller.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's what I proposed, just because that's what we were budgeted for. If you, I sent it to them first, and it will come back to you if that's something you want to change. But they seem to be open to that, just to get it done.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? All right, we're just gonna keep moving to the fun stuff. Water fund?
Is that it's 641, right? If I have those numbers, or, okay, cause that's 585, okay. Our water sales down, yeah, forget it.
So, I think I mentioned in the memo, water consumption is down. Mark's seeing the same thing, you know, it's not anything with our billing system, it's just use is down. I don't know if you've noticed any uptick lately, but I don't think it's gonna change. We've actually got a little bit of rain. That's affecting our revenues.
So do you think we will track 25s based off current where we sit today, or do you think we'll be less than 25?
I think we'll be less, or with 25?
2025, yep.
Yeah, no, I think it's possible.
Because we're at 214 halfway through the year.
Yeah, I think it's possible we'll be less. What I just pulled, I think I put it in memos, we're tracking at like 44%, like the sewer and water between 44 and 50%. I kind of looked the last 2 months, and we should be closer to 58, 60. So that's taking the most recent numbers I have. So we are tracking low, and it's a usage. And I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mark. You're seeing the same thing with
Usage through, like usage all
less.
year
You're
long?
pumping less too.
We're not up like a lot of the cities are.
And it could be that, you know, people are just very mindful of it. As people get more energy efficient appliances and, you know,
Yeah.
cost of living is up, so they could be just making some different decisions to try to conserve. I'm not saying conservation is bad either. It's, water is still a precious resource. We just have to be able to run our systems too.
So if water consumption is down, pumping is down, so then the fee that we pay is down?
This is the water fund, so this is
Oh,
our own
sure,
fund.
not sewer,
Yep,
sorry.
not sewer, yep.
Well, the water still goes down the sewer, so I mean, that should still be affecting.
Yes.
I mean, it still affects the same way.
Yes. Yeah, we have been, pumping hasn't been what we've expected, but we also don't have a full year to gauge it off, because we've been shut down. We just started flush cycles, like, it's really hard to gauge what it's gonna look like until you get a full cycle in. But going back to water, yeah, is lower. That's why I have in the memo a proposed rate increase.
Yeah.
I just don't
Well,
wanna
we
see
have
it
a,
get
we
too
have
far
a,
underwater.
I mean, we've discussed that we need to likely do water increases annually, because
Yeah.
we have major
and
water
you-
projects coming up as well.
You guys saw the rate study.
Yeah.
I mean, we were supposed to do 30%, 30%, 30%, so, this should not be a total surprise.
Right. Yep.
And especially if we want to do any of those improvements. Now, we're doing fine as far as cash goes, and like $500,000, if we need to put towards these improvements to leverage that grant fund, absolutely recommend doing that. We can do that.
Yep.
It's just you've gotta keep monitoring it, so that doesn't, all of a sudden we spend $500,000, another
Right.
million, and then all of a sudden we don't have much reserve, because as we all know, it's not cheap to fix some of the infrastructure related to the water and sewer.
All right, so water fund expenses, any comments, questions on that? Oh. So as far as water fund expenses, that seems to be tracking really low compared to what the budget would have been.
Yeah, and I don't know if you have any comment on that. I know it kind of fluctuates how much time you spend and what they're having you do, but I don't know if you have anything to add
Which department?
on water.
Yeah, the expenses, I mean, we're at halfway through the year, 236 on a budget for full year of 928.
Well, the transfers out, take that, that's coming at the end of the year. That's all your committed debt service, so that's
Okay.
171.
But big things like, other maintenance, I'm thinking we're gonna have to dig a hydrant up at the county shop. The guys pulled it today. You know, I'll dump 5. Depends if I gotta put a new hydrant there or not. We got another one on Oak, we might do yet this year, if we're not gonna do the road. So I mean, things like that we have coming in, so.
Okay.
And then, just another note, depreciation to the non-cash, we always include that. But that's a booked at the end of the year expenditure. So those are kind of your, that's like 260-some thousand right there.
Okay. Move on to sewer fund.
Sewer fund, revenues are down. I can clearly see, people did a better job of locking in their rate. And that has negatively impacted a bit, and then the usage, the lower usage. I'm not saying it's, that, we know that was a program and that was a potential. But you can definitely see that trend when it came to the summer months. We are not tracking near the revenues as we would last summer, if that makes any sense, the change. And you can see it when the lock hits and when it's off. So, it's a two-part problem, but, just need to be aware that there is an impact with that.
What's the other under the sewer fund for the 418,000?
What was that? Is that a reimbursement? It's probably a reimbursement from the state or the feds, yeah. That it's gotta be one of the reimbursements.
I can pull it up too if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where we put the reimbursements, I think, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, it's gotta be the PFA reimbursement. So when we submit to the loan, or we submit for projects. That would be cause we submit and then
We don't have nearly as many of the revenue account differentiations under the water and sewer, cause most of our revenues come from specific things, or smaller number of things, so a reimbursement from a PFA will go under another, because it's not really a regular revenue source.
Sure.
And let me see if you can see one in, like where the water ones came in. Well, actually, we probably wouldn't have any the water ones were probably all last year, you haven't gotten one yet this year, have we? Okay. Same thing with the water side, like the lead service would come in.
Okay, so then to that point though, right, with lower sewer fund revenues, we're seeing lower St. Cloud treatment fees.
Yeah, and I still keep the budget up there because
Right.
I anticipate,
We'll be adding, hopefully, right, homes, businesses. Because like LEI is not even online yet.
Right.
So.
yeah, I think LEI is gonna use a little bit of water too, so that should help.
Mhm.
But we will be setting them up on, they have like an osmosis system, right, or, well, they lose it. They lose the water and evaporation into their product, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So we won't see the sewer
so we have what
sewer usage from them, but we'll see the water usage from
we
them.
call like an osmosis or a deduction in the commercial product.
Yeah.
We do allow for that.
We still have I&I penalties out there.
Oh, yeah.
8 of them, maybe.
I'm gonna put one on again here too. So like anybody that didn't do it in the north side now is added on.
Maybe somewhere around 8, could be up to 10.
So that looks promising to get that taken care of. Yeah, no,
What was that?
those,
You know what
Those-
happens is when the house turns over is when we seem to be able to get some of these taken care of. Because then we'll put it out on it'll show up like on an assessment search or something,
Sure.
we'll note it, and then a lot of times the new buyers don't want it on there, so that's when we've had a few of them taken care of.
okay.
But long-term residents, not necessarily.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot that still needs to be factored into the 2026 year-to-date. Do we see, based off of lower revenues, to offset and be followed by the lowered expenses?
The front page is gonna show you where we're sitting, that, fund balance page. You'll see less depreciation. The page that has the percentage.
Yep.
Go to the top right.
Yep.
Some is offset by pumping expense, but there is a general overhead of the system that is, not necessarily going to be offset. And like I said, I don't even have a full year of data on the sewer side, so it's really hard to tell. Rain events change it. I mean, I'm kinda going off of the estimates when we work the worksheet with the PFA and what the city of St. Cloud gets us. You gotta realize we have capital obligations with the city of St. Cloud too, so that's not gonna change with
Sure.
usage, we're still locked in there.
Yep.
We started a reserve fund with the city of St. Cloud because the group decided we wanted to make sure we had more contingency, so we weren't getting all these big bills, like, whoops, the force main collapsed, we need to charge everybody. They had
Mhm.
that happen a couple years ago.
Okay.
So it's kinda hard to say yes and no. But like your cash, the thing I want you to know is with that top right is, the difference is, I took out the non-cashes on the bottom there, the 90, 94, and the 700,000, so you are aware that's a non-cash depreciation expense. So we put it in our expenditures, cause you really wanna account for it, but it's actually not money, physical cash going out the door.
Right.
I think if you just keep doing moderate increases and we monitor it, the thing is just, let's not let it get out of hand, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's all we can do.
Moderate increases.
That would be my recommendation.
Development, get some more businesses online.
Yep, there may be some other, get a big user in here and all of a sudden that could fluctuate things a little bit. And get a pouch check back.
Okay. All right. Moving on to swimming pool. Swimming fees are just down this year?
Oh, we got a lot to post yet in there,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, July and August would not be reflected
Sure, okay.
in there. A lot of that year-to-date of the 50,000 is the swimming lessons that people pre-buy. So they're purchasing their swimming lessons in May for things that haven't happened or are happening now.
Okay.
So the July revenues won't be reflected. They are posted into our system, but they won't be reflected on here.
Okay.
And then August is still finishing up. But a majority of that 50,000 is the pre-purchased swimming lessons, or things like pool passes that people have purchased before, throughout the whole year.
It's been kind of an above normal year for us at the swimming pool, it's been good.
It's good,
It
but
seems to be a very good year as far as what is in the pool bags each day. We haven't had a lot of times where we've had to close, which is good.
I mean, you're down there every day, as far as the attendance and stuff goes.
I try to stop in every couple days, yeah, lately it's been a little slow evenings, but.
It usually gets slower mid-August when people are getting ready to go back to school.
Sports,
Yeah,
And I got a lot of support.
families are doing stuff before.
and the sun is going down earlier, so it's getting cooler earlier.
We've had some nice big groups come though,
Yeah.
so that's helped out.
And when we had that hot streak in July, there was a few days that they actually had to turn people away because there's not enough lifeguards for the amount of people in the pool.
And they get a lot of people in that pool.
Yeah, it was incredible. I think Katie was there that day with us. And there was a line around the building and out the door, and they just kept calling people in and still had to turn people away. Like the kiddie pool, it was just heads everywhere. There was like no room to walk. It was nice to see. So,
Anything else on swimming pool?
So we're proposing a rate increase on that for swimming fees?
I'm just gonna propose for the lesson.
Yep.
it would
Just a few bucks on each of the lessons. What did we say?
I think $2 or $3 each.
It's
Or
2 and 4, or 3 and 6 or
Are
something.
they 82 something now?
Yeah.
Like 82 to 86, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
That seems fair.
Yeah, the fee schedule, the whole thing will come later too. You actually have to do the public hearing on it and stuff, but, I don't like to hit them both at once. I wanna do one or the other.
Yep.
It's been 3 years since we did any fee increase, so we figured it's time. Our staffing costs have increased every year, so
Right.
it's time to adjust for that.
Okay. Good questions. All right. Fire fund. Fire Chief Mark, anything,
What is it?
any comments otherwise from revenues and expenditures?
I'm all out of order.
These ones have highlights. Is there any special reason?
It's mostly so that on another spreadsheet, for the funding things that we have to supply to the state, so we kind of can make sure that the numbers are correct. They funnel into a different spot.
Is there, I don't know, science behind why individual fire calls budget for this year would be 26,000, but next year would be 40,000?
Our collections is tracking that way.
Yeah,
I mean, our year-to-date's tracking good.
we seem to be collecting a lot more than other years. People seem to be paying their bill a lot more frequently this year,
We did great in 25.
which is good.
And then we did increase it a couple years ago too, so if your collection improves too, it's increasing a little bit faster.
Okay.
It's also it fluctuates depending on the number of calls. You might have more house fires that are a higher revenue source than medical calls. It totally depends on
Okay.
the nature of calls and how many.
I think it helps too, the contracts also, the township pays them, right, correct? If they don't pay them, like the township pays them and then goes after
Township
them.
assess.
So that improves our collection as well, because the township can assess the landowner.
For the calls related to property, not medical or car issues.
But like, we've had a few more trickle in because of that, where we sometimes are fighting to collect.
Mayor, I think I'm correct to say the 285 to 295 is just, we were under budgeting or under expensing the previous years, so that's
Okay.
why we brought it up. We're gonna have some in-house discussions, but I think we're gonna bring a fire contract freeze for next year. So basically, that's why I said keep ours at a 0. The valuations are going up too fast. We can't keep charging these townships more, so, and that's figured into here. We might have some paperwork in the next, maybe in September,
Yeah, I think if you guys,
yeah, so,
I did
But-
give you a draft on it.
yes,
Okay,
and we have a
okay.
draft out there, it's
Okay,
just, it's basically saying that, hey, we're not gonna raise your rates, it's gonna give us a year to figure out what we're doing, we gotta slow our contracts down, we gotta slow this whole budget down, you know, slow. Just cause a lot of our stuff's off valuation and. It didn't do what they said it was, it went up, they said it wasn't gonna do this that much, so.
And we lost one contract.
Yes, about 14,000 or 15,000, I think, or,
Moral?
yeah,
Okay. They're right on the line. of-
2/3 of that we had.
Yeah.
South 2/3.
Okay. All right, any other questions on revenues, expenses from the accounts? Otherwise, we move into the CIP.
Kinda went over the general a bit, but.
So yeah, we're probably
On fire.
be referencing our first page here for the capital expenditures. So besides adjusting some of the budget dollars, the other things we can do is adjust some of our CIP to help reduce the levy, correct?
Correct.
Chief, is that number hard on the radios? We get an update on that?
Yes, I did get a quote today, right before the meeting, for updated radios, and I can lower that if that would, the quote I got, and this is one of them, and I'm still hoping that we get a grant, to cover, the grant that we tried to apply for is, $10,000, so, but I don't know if we'll get it. But my updated quote is 52.5. That's as of right now, so if you factor in a little bit increase, I could do 60 for sure. I mean 55, but I don't know how much they would increase. I would hate to go over on that.
Right.
Does it say expiration? Okay, so the expiration is 10.
What kind of longevity are we looking at for those?
Until we have to. Like now we just have to, cause by 2029, we have to be encrypted.
Okay.
And that's the goal, that's with the FBI, that the sheriff's office said, yep, Benton County by 2029 will all be encrypted. And so then that's just putting it in factor now.
So, and these radios are for both fire and police?
Nope, just
Nope.
police.
Look on the CIP, we split it now. If you go under Public Works, there's a radios line. And I'll have Mark verify, I know he said like a couple this year and then more the following, but I wasn't quite sure on the number on that, I couldn't find that note.
Yeah. Also be just portables for now. I see no reason to replace our mobile radios for what we use them, and those are not gonna have to be encrypted, so.
That was my next question, is fire
No,
though?
Fire's
Fire
gonna have to have some,
Okay.
we have 2 encrypted right now.
And that'll be also 2029?
We have portable sooner, no, mobile sooner than later, cause we're on borrowed time with them. We have, 2 that are very poor shape, and, portables, again, we keep trying for grants.
Yep.
Mobiles there's no grants for, so, we have a grant in right now that's, FEMA will be releasing this fall, but again, I say, we play that game every year. Do we put it in the CIP or not? And we finally just put everything in here now, and if we get it, it'll go down, and if not.
So just going back, are we comfortable reducing the radios for PD by 10?
So we have a quote for 52 and change.
Yep,
And that expires though October, so next year that obviously will be probably more.
How old's the quote?
This quote is just what I got today, or the 17th. Quote date is the August 17th. Expiration date is 10/16 of 26.
So we said 52 and change, plus you're hoping for a grant. You already applied for the grant?
Yeah, my officer did, yeah.
And these are the radios that would satisfy the required radios you need by 2029?
Mm-hmm. And then they will last until, I have, probably before, I'll be retired before we need to replace them.
Can you,
That's that long.
Unless regulations.
Yeah, unless regulations change, then.
Who
Kate,
says you can?
is that quote you have from who we purchased from before, or is it a different one?
No, this is who we purchased from before. It's Granite City Electronics, or now they're called DSC. There was at the chief conference, I did visit with other vendors, but they don't program them. And so whereas DSC, they program it. This includes out the door, ready to go. Whereas the other vendors, they were cheaper, yes, but they didn't have the programming. So, yeah, and this company's right in St. Cloud, and the guy stops out here frequently, so we've done all our work.
That's possible that could be the vendor,
Mhm.
comparing other quotes and stuff.
is that grant, the 10,000 based on how much you're spending or what you need, or is that something you can
That's
apply
the-
for each year?
That's the max of that grant. Or what you could get is 10,000. It's what we did our body cameras through.
Yep.
Essential,
Oh, okay.
electric
Okay,
out there.
ECE?
And so it's that grant. And you can do it every year, yes. But
I mean, just throwing it out there, is there an opportunity for you to buy half the radios this year, half the radios next year?
it's not in our CIP for this year.
Or, sorry, 27?
Well, and that's where I worry though, if we get that grant though, because I don't bank on grants, because I've applied for multiple grants and I hardly get any. So that's why I just rather get them all at once and be done.
But, so grants aside, could you buy half the radios in 27, half the radios in 28, even without grants?
I would say no, because if you look ahead at the CIP for next year, we're already at 408.
Would that change the quote as well? It's not
Yeah.
like your quote would just go in half. It's possible that it would change based on the number of radios.
Well, it would go, if we do less radios, it would go down.
Right, but
Do we know if they're getting
Oh,
a
quantity,
volume, like
oh,
a per
yeah.
unit?
would the cost per
Cost.
radio be higher?
We do have a sale price, yes,
Okay.
it's over $2,000 sale price. So I mean, I can comfortably, I can say 60,000, comfortable. I mean, 55 would be, it might be a little, but,
Well, I could say, I could find you a few thousand in the general fund if I had to,
Right.
probably. I always have a couple spots, cause sometimes Public Works needs a little, sometimes,
mhm.
we could probably find
So I can lower it to 55.
if needed.
When's the expected, I mean, grants have deadlines, and then there's a reveal period. Do we know when they plan to reveal the grant?
That's what I do not know. Because what I do is to try to help with all the stuff I have going on there. I have an officer who helps do all the grants, and he's in charge of that.
And so
I
your
just
quote,
know he applied for it, and we
so
haven't
your
heard
quote
back.
is for 52 and change, if you bought them by October.
So I can do
Did they allude to the fact that expect a much higher price a month later or next year?
Well, right now, he took off, if I got it within this next month, there would have been a extra more sale price. But he took that off already. There's a different promo. So I'm guessing they would always go up, but he never said how much or anything like that. So,
So if you bought them even earlier, there'd be more of a discount?
As of this month. But we don't have that in our budget, so we can't do that.
Well, there's plenty of money. The money, whether we use it now or use it later, it's there. I mean, if we can save more money,
Front it now.
if it's a matter of saving $5,000 and paying for it 3 months earlier than we buy.
Like when we ordered the squad car early.
Well, right, I mean,
Yeah.
whether you cut the check on 1/1/27 or 9/1/26, that's a moot point.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna,
I mean, I'm just saying, if, at the end of the day, it still reflects on the budget. We're just pulling the funds a few months earlier, but if we can save some more money, if it's a difference of bringing this from 70 down to 45, that's a pretty big swing.
well, would it be worthwhile to have her get a new quote to bring to the September 1st meeting?
Yeah,
In the meantime, she's comfortable doing 60. So we can
55.
put- Or 50, I mean, I think we can do 55. I can find a
55.
few $1,000s somewhere if we need
Yeah.
to. It.
I mean, there's a lot of
stuff
places
happens
that
like
sell radios, that, I mean, if they're not gonna honor a quote, we can look around. Yeah, I would say lower it to 55 for now, but if there's an opportunity for you to get a quote that, if there's some other special promo
If
where.
it's 50, go for it. They're saying, come bring it back to September and go for it or something,
Yeah, I mean,
or whatever.
right, I mean,
Do you know how much that discount was?
I'm looking back at my emails.
okay, we'll continue
We
on.
could bring that to September 1st, couldn't we?
Well, and that's what I'm worried if he said by the end of this month.
Well, September 1st is the meeting.
Mm.
I'd tell him that date and see what he can, yeah, we can look.
Yeah.
But we can keep moving on for now.
Yeah, we move on. If they're willing to honor something, I mean, yeah, I could see that being, for now, brought down to 55, and then potential of bringing it down to 50. And
Now,
that's-
are your radios different, or is that the same, it's for Public Works?
Public Works would be different. I mean, we're not gonna probably have any encrypted in Public Works.
Would they come from the same vendor possibly?
Yeah.
Like, is it worthwhile to try to check on those? I'm just posing a
Right.
question. If we're getting another radio, would there be a discount for adding 2 more or something?
Get that.
It's just a question, I don't.
I have the quote for the fire, all of them was 213,000
For all,
for the whole, for 25, 30 portables and 10 mobiles. So,
But those would be, so your Public Works radios are different. Those fire radios are like this, they're encrypted. Okay,
we don't need the fancy in the Public Works.
okay. I just was,
Don't think we need encrypted for any reason.
Usually it's just for the criminal justice side why it has to be encrypted.
okay.
And it's by mid-September is the promo.
So there's a possibility we could do it in September.
And I'm emailing, asking for the updated bid.
Okay. So Mark, for your Public Works radios, how many is that for the 10,000?
I don't know if that
I
number
think
could.
I'd like to get 3 if we can fit, 3 portables if we can fit it in.
That number was I couldn't find my
Yeah.
note, so that was kind of my
Yeah.
guess, so you have to check with him.
Close.
Okay.
Be a close number. We have no spares, like I say, if we do put another person, we won't have one, and the ones we have, 2 of them that we have were hand-me-downs from way back yonder.
Okay.
Working yet.
And then the website redesign, that's a compliance thing that has to happen.
Yeah, we have to get going on that, but we just haven't had any time to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I know we have in the budget for this year, council tablets. I mean, I don't know if there's a.
That's up to you,
There's no rush for that. I mean,
that's also a project we need dedicated staff time to do too, so.
yeah, I'm fine kicking that one down the road.
Should we kick it to 28? I know
Yeah.
it's kind of a pain in the butt for copies and stuff, but.
we're looking at tablets, it is?
Yeah, for that, we had tablets on for this year.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, we continue to push ourselves into the 21st century, but
Yeah.
I'm okay pushing that one
Yeah.
down the road. I mean, it is what it is.
Okay.
I mean, there's more important things. Lions Park shelter improvements, I mean, has anyone approached the Lions Club on helping pay for said
I haven't.
improvements?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
have
I
not.
know a guy, I'd say they probably would be.
The times we've talked, they've never had a lot of monetary, you know,
We do now.
okay.
I mean, we
I
spent like,
think
we
I-
spent like $15,000 on a water fountain and a bench. I'm pretty sure we can probably help with some cameras indoors on protecting
And
the,
that's where-
protecting the shelter.
We need to do the doors before we can do cameras. I think I'd rather ask the Lions for some camera stuff would be more of a, put a decent camera there, you know, or two.
And we have the ability with, you know, Wi-Fi and all the things to be able to have cameras, good cameras
We'd
installed
have
there?
to get that. no,
We'd have to run it,
we'd
that's
have
the,
to either
that's
do-
kinda
Okay.
why we've been limited, cause it's not out there, it'd have to get run.
Okay, so that's the problem. I would, I mean, what are their doors gonna cost? I mean, cameras, I'm assuming, are probably the more expensive part of this, 10,000.
Doors are steel doors.
Yeah.
They're all original and
Oh, okay,
it's, yeah, look at the bottoms there.
sure.
We painted and painted and painted and,
So what do you need for doors? How much?
the 10, I mean.
10 for the doors, okay.
Oh, yeah. That was just basically getting the building up and then we'd have to talk how we,
What's the priority, doors or cameras?
you'll,
You think doors first
Doors.
because,
doors.
we're not quite sure, at least I'm not quite sure how exactly we approach this camera thing. Like, we might have to start with just trying to get internet in there. Because we've tried those Arlos, we've tried those, you know, through
Yeah.
Verizon, they don't work
Do
very
you see,
well.
do you think something like Midco would do something like they did for the pool?
We could ask, or
I mean, I don't
is
know.
anybody else close out there? Not really. Who's at the pond? I suppose that's way far away.
I mean, SIM cards, they aren't terribly expensive. That's what we have with the compost.
Right.
And what does that just take? Pictures?
No,
Or it
no,
just
that's
comes
your
up?
internet.
Okay, it
Yeah.
just is the,
And it can record videos and then somebody.
does it have the clarity on the picture?
It depends on the camera that you get to run it with.
It's what, you gotta get a decent
Yeah.
camera.
Okay.
You give up on these Arlos and all them. and
Yeah,
We're putting one at the compost gate this fall yet.
Another one?
We
Or
don't-
I thought we had one, we had a trail
We had
cam.
a trail cam
That's what
and
we
it's
had.
just, we need something that's, we can go back and review and,
Right, yeah.
Right.
So you're thinking something like that
yeah.
for the parks?
I have a quote on it for the park. It was, keep talking and, you know.
You'll find it?
Yeah, I mean, it was less
I'm
than
afraid
5
of
for
it.
the cameras and everything, and that's,
Oh, it's not bad.
Is that just for one park or both?
that was Lions.
Okay.
Okay.
Cause I almost think if we do it for Lions, we really should do it for Holdridge.
Well, right, I mean,
Just
Holdridge
beautiful.
has
Nice
vandalism too,
facilities,
I mean,
yeah.
so.
Was it the quote I sent you, Mark?
No,
I mean, cause this can go down, it just can't go up. I'd like to earmark the Lions Park 10,000 and see what it is the Lions Club would be willing to do. I mean, they know they have a general obligation to help preserve and maintain the park. Yes, there was a while there that there was no money to do so. There is now. I mean, and they want that to be the case, so.
just real quick, I mean, and I don't know what's in here, but the quote that, does our systems, you know, our doors and all, that was $4,831. So,
Oh.
but that was everything, the split, all you need, all the stuff to get
Sure.
it going.
It's not
The
terrible.
reason why I didn't, like, say, and the compost was about 2,800. That's gonna come out of operating budget. The 48 was something we had to come back and bring, so that's why.
There be
I
an
said that-
annual on that too then?
There's some, it's
Okay.
like the door locks, it'd be, but not near.
But they work well, I mean, that's security, right? Is it security locksmiths or what is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, our door, I mean, that's
They
Yeah.
do, they're very good,
Yeah,
um,
security
system,
technologies.
or whatever it
and,
is, yeah.
yep, the cameras are pretty good these days.
Well, they've been good to work with for our door system,
Yeah.
like, too, so.
I could see, it, we're not gonna jump in the second one at the compost, if we,
4,800?
4831.99, and I could send these quotes on, but that was more than I wanted to spend this year, so that's why I didn't go anywhere.
Okay,
And that would be after we get internet installed, right? You need the internet?
I think that includes SIM cards.
Oh, okay.
okay. Have we done the Northway or Norway Drive park improvements and the warming house improvements yet, or are those still yet to come?
We have not done anything at Norway, and really don't know if it's, I think that's gonna get bumped, obviously another year. Hoping to do a warming house, but I don't know, with how we're,
Is that just a timing thing?
yeah, and we did the scout house and all that, took
Yep.
longer than we thought, and with all the fall jetting.
And the
Really-
projects,
Okay.
and the projects.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean, it's,
So that doesn't roll over though into 27 and
Yeah,
increase the
sure would be
levy,
nice
that's
to
already
No,
levied.
it's already levied,
okay.
yep.
it'd
Yeah.
sure be nice to clean that warming house up.
Mhm.
Everything else is looking decent
Right.
out there.
Alright, so trail improvements, I mean, I'd like to see us continue to improve our trails and parks, if we're doing anything with money.
One thing, if you may, you won't like it, can we combine those two and kick the trail over at least a year? I know next year we're gonna have to do some cutting out of CIP, I'm in agreement with that already. The quote he sent back for Holdridge Park, he put 4 pieces in front of the shelter there instead of 3, and it's 60. We can tell them to take a piece out, had 4 swing and whatever, 4 kit things it had.
Okay.
It's only supposed to have 3. Do we wanna keep it at 4, or we can send it, look at it, and decide? The 10,000, I think we gotta do the trail across from the fire hall, but that, we should have money in this year. The other big spot is Norman from Oak down, but I'd like to have discussions with the county on that, cause there's some curb that needs to be redone and a catch basin, and we don't wanna do our trail and have them come back and.
Right.
Now we have a new engineer, as you know, just started. He needs time, so I don't foresee the trail, that section of trail getting done next year. Next year might be a little quieter on trail unless we.
So you think push the
Well, can we-
10,000 trailer improvements to 28?
Do we wanna combine the 50 and this 10 for the Holdridge Park and put 4 pieces?
Okay,
You
I
know,
see what
I'm
you're
not
saying.
asking for an increase,
Yeah,
I know we're
right.
trying to go the other way here, but yet we're gonna have to, and then put it for 28, but 28 we're gonna have to do chopping, I mean, that's obvious.
okay.
So scratch trail or kick trail,
But then
So
And then
add
increase the other
10,000
one.
to 28,
so it's a net zero.
it's a net.
it's a net zero. And so the quote then is for 60,000 for 4
It-
pieces.
I'll send it up to, I got it here already a week, 2 weeks, whatever ago, and
Okay,
I just it's not what I had anticipated.
okay. So some of these 26 projects will probably carry over to 27 and then trail to 28. Okay, but it's a net zero otherwise. So radio, I know, keep talking about radios. So that might get you 3 radios this year, and then you need, 6 more in 27.
27.
And then 3 more, so 3 in 27 and 6 in 28, is that?
We would never get, I think that number is gonna go down, like I say, when we do cutting, cause a couple of our portables are good yet, like I say.
Okay,
It's just if we have to do any mobiles or not, but I don't foresee. We had them together and we split them, is why that number all of a sudden came in here, so.
so it's like 10,000 for one
I mean,
type
we
of
could do
radio?
10 we could do 10 and 10 right now, and just leave it at 10 and 20, and next year we'll probably be changing it.
Okay. Well, yeah, next year, or for 28, if it goes down 10, then we found our trail improvement money, so perfect.
Yeah. There you go, we'll swap it.
Okay, Almost, bless you.
Thank you.
The New Holland tractor for 26, you got that, right?
We haven't got it yet.
Haven't got it yet. Ordered, planning
No.
to?
Planning to.
Okay.
Hopefully I'll have information next meeting.
And what is that one for? That tractor?
Ditch mowing, I'll call it mainly.
Okay,
Pond mowing, ditch mowing, spillways, highway ditches,
sure.
industrial parks.
So no rush on it, I suppose, now that the season's coming to an end.
Right.
But again, it's already factored in, so. Air compressor, yeah, for next year,
We have air compressor and Bobcat.
and a Bobcat.
Can either one of them be kicked down the road?
I don't like pushing stuff because we
I
get
know.
further and further behind. I
Yeah.
will tell you reluctantly that if you're gonna take something, take the compressor.
Right.
You know, if it's gonna make, I don't know what 40,000 does in the budget right
Right.
now, you know, if
Yeah.
it's like, gonna change anything or not. It runs, it's just,
The air
if it,
compressor.
when it breaks, I mean, it might be down for 2-3 months to get parts.
Cause that's an old one.
You just can't get parts anymore, yeah, it's time for it to go, it starts, it runs, it's safe, I mean, all that yet. It's not
Sure.
like the old one we had to hold the thing to keep it running, but.
Well, wouldn't it make more sense to replace the compressor then, Mark, than the Bobcat?
No, the compressor's used, that's our problem, it's used, barring a water leak, it's used 6-8 times a year maybe. It's not a high use thing.
Okay.
A Bobcat's used a lot, you know, we have the attachments,
Yep.
the mill, they just were grinding stumps last week out at the Monty's Foley sign out there.
Oh,
We
yeah.
grounded all those, we're using that a lot with all the attachments we have. So
Okay.
that's a higher use thing. The
I
compressor.
was gonna say, the air compressor is almost,
Parks, pools, blowing them out in the fall, a water leak, things like that, where,
almost like earmark it, and it just gets replaced when it absolutely needs to be replaced.
I mean, yeah, we've been pushing that down the road for 5 years, I bet. Which is
Okay.
pretty quick, we gotta replace it, but it runs, and like I say, if 40,000 is gonna matter in the budget, is it dollar for dollar it matters? You know, what's in the
We're
CIP?
-8 right now, in the fund, so to speak, after, right, is that, I got a -8.
Yeah, I
in
didn't
the
know
order.
if, you know, is it dollar for dollar in a CIP or?
So like if you look at the front sheet, the equipment project funds in the negative, we haven't transferred in yet for everything we spent, but essentially that holds a negative balance. So it can,
So the more we, I mean, so
if you
when we
don't balance
cut,
it out, then it's gonna just go further into the negative if we keep spending on it.
so the Bobcat, is that, that would replace the old one, so would you be able to sell the old one?
There would be a trade-in, I have no idea of trade-in value. It
Okay.
still has a little bit of.
Is your 60 kind of reflective of a trade-in value, or is that like what
Yeah,
it costs to buy a new one?
Please, so.
Okay. All right.
Well, that's for a new one, Mark?
Yes.
Okay, and the one that we have now, is it time or?
It's time, yeah, like I say, you have, you know, with the CIP plan, you wanna rotate this stuff out. And
Which we have done in the past.
Yep, exactly.
But,
And that's the one I say is more important to do that one than the compressor. I mean, worst comes to worst, Benton County's great, I know where a compressor is, one phone call, I got it, or we go to general rental and rent one
Sure.
for 6
Okay.
months, is my plan, if it dies.
Right, I was gonna say, worst case scenario, we just run that one until it absolutely doesn't work.
Yeah, if it dies. we go-
Bobcat, I can see where we actually.
What is
actually-
the rental cost roughly?
I don't know.
Not 40 grand.
No,
Um,
no.
Just one thing, I don't always recommend this, but if we have some critical needs and we talk about a couple items, we do have expendable trust funds. There's over 300,000 in there, that is our rainy day. We have not tapped into it for a number of years. It is something we can look at, we just gotta be careful, you know, cause it'll deplete quick
Right.
if you keep
Yeah,
taking.
yeah.
But if it's something that we've determined, we could take a small chunk out of there to
Yeah.
fund.
I
We
like.
know it's a tough budget cycle this year, we do
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, I like the idea of pushing the air compressor down. I mean, like you said, worst case scenario, you beg, borrow, whatever,
Yeah.
right? And we just know then that becomes a critical replacement issue, right, on the following year or whatever. But the Bobcat, I can understand where, yeah, that's used probably
Yep, that'll
darn
be
near
our-
daily.
Push the
daily,
compressor
but
down a
it's-
year?
It's used.
Couple times a month it's you, yeah.
Okay.
To 2028, or where would you?
Uh,
Can we just keep kicking?
I think we just
it
keep
here?
kicking that one down as long as we feel like, yep, I can get a few more uses out of it, maybe, right? And we
Well,
just,
then kick that roller down too, if you're
Yeah.
doing that
What
too,
about
right?
2050?
The roller's the same thing. Would it be great to have one? Yeah, we use the counties. I have no idea what the
I
new
would like-
engineer, you know, with the new engineer, are we gonna have the same?
Sure.
It's been great to work with.
Which one are you talking to push the roller? Which one?
We'll kick it one more to the right.
so if we
then.
push the air compressor down 1 year and
Oh,
then,
asphalt roller,
push the
okay.
asphalt roller down 1 year.
Boom.
So
We've been
can-
doing this for 5 years, if not
Mm-hmm.
7
Yeah,
years,
yeah.
kicking this
Can
down.
you add a note in there that says, per council discussion,
For
must be
certificates.
replaced when dies or something,
Yeah.
just so,
Do that.
if there's a turnover in any council, we know there was a discussion.
I'm fine with that. Deb? Anyone else?
Both of them
Good?
are low-use things.
Yeah.
They're-
So, okay, so Bobcat, and then again, you know, maybe get a deal, that's the price, and we can still obviously trade or sell ours, so, cause those hold a decent value. Okay. Okay, that was fun.
Okay, can you do what's but I show that that's 62,000 off of the capital levy. I have 15K for Katie's radio, 7K by kicking council tablets, 10K Lions for park, and then 40K for that compressor.
Oh, 10K we're gonna leave there for. that.
Well, leave it on there.
Okay,
And then we'll have
that- okay.
conversation with Lions, cause we can scale
then
back, we just
62.
can't add it back.
So then 62, if you take that overall levy number and you take off 62, what does that give us for a percentage? You know what I'm talking about, Monica?
On the budget.
On the on the budget, on
It
the,
does affect it,
fund
does affect
balance.
it 1-for-1 on a
Yep.
CIP, okay.
so just
I
take,
did like a 210.
so yeah, just do like 210. And then go back to your fund balance. Okay, so that dropped it to 7.69%.
That's
So we're making some headway.
I mean, it's pretty good, I mean, it's a much better number.
Right,
So,
yeah.
while we've got that page up, one thing I wanna note is we have a tax capacity increase of 8.2%. Almost 4 million, or just shy of 4 million in new construction. So how I've calced that, it's a lot of commercial, new construction, which means it's a higher tax capacity rate, which is a good thing. So my best guess with calculating, kind of backing into our tax rate, the first 40 to 50,000 of levy dollars would be a net zero on our, because of the new construction. So if you take that $122,000 number and take 40,000 off of it, I mean, that was essentially, you can add that without increasing. Does that make sense? Because your tax capacity increased with new construction.
Okay.
So we always gotta be careful because valuations increase
Right.
too, and I can't control the shifting, but that's roughly when I backed into it, it was about 40 to 50,000 of the levy, the first levy dollars would be added to the new construction projects that we put on. So that would be like the medical center,
Okay.
like like some of those new things that have been added to our schedules.
So, does that mean then the levy would be lower?
So, Monica, maybe the best way to do it is to take that $122,000 number and
make it
just take
82?
40,000 off of it. So I'd say we're at a 5% right now,
Okay.
overall.
Because
Now,
we
there's still
haven't
shifting-
seen that realized gain yet.
No, we know there's new construction.
Yeah.
And that, this is the first time we'll levy against that new construction.
Okay,
I still can't control all the shifting,
sure.
you know, but that's, when I get those, assessor numbers, I specifically look at that new construction. Because that's where they talk about, you know, where we have added to spread the tax base around, essentially, the tax
Yep.
bill around.
Okay.
It's not a lot, but it's the best we've done in a long time, so I was pretty happy.
I
with
mean,
it.
I'm not gonna complain about that. So I mean, that gets us through, at least, I mean, from a CIP standpoint, then we have the CIP for streets. The Mariah Drive drain tile, which I know has also been kicked down the road quite a bit. I mean, I'd like to see that it get done, as we've been making improvements. seal coating, that's kind of just a forever living thing. Industrial park expansion, that doesn't actually affect our CIP.
So the thing that I would caution about that is we're not gonna do that unless we have a project and we have a grant.
Right, so we just gotta keep
Um,
kicking that down until we
Keep kicking it.
have the project,
But
right?
when we do it, we're on the hook for half.
Okay,
So we get half, deed grant is usually 50%. So we have to plan for that rough $900 million. I don't even know, when's the last time we had an updated number? Probably been a couple years,
right,
so. Just keep that in mind. That's where you could go to some reserve funding as well to help pay for that, but.
okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
we're probably not gonna do much with that 40,000 in overlay seal coat this year, but next year, it's easier to take a few years and do it bigger, so just,
okay,
if all of a sudden that comes back, you hear it next year.
right, so,
Should we just move it over to that and put 60 in 27?
Yeah, I really don't foresee us, yes.
so you're probably not gonna do any overlay seal coating this year?
We're gonna be doing some road maintenance stuff or whatever, but it'll come out of operating budget.
Sure, so that'll just roll over into next year
Yeah.
then and keep
You
that,
usually get better
You
prices
get
if
better,
you,
it's a bit, you know,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah.
alright, that seems fair.
Just so you know that.
Okay, I'm just kinda going through, there's not really much here, it's source of funding, projects.
So is the Mariah number, do we need to get that updated, do you think?
We should probably get it updated.
A
I
couple-
know we've upped it a few times, I mean,
Well-
I don't foresee it being that far up.
Is
The
that
thing with that
something-
one is we got some funding sources with storm sewer fees that we're transferring in to help pay for some of that, so,
Okay. We wouldn't have to assess on that,
no, we do not
Okay.
have an assessment policy for that
okay.
type of work.
I just didn't wanna have another project opened up. We got enough on the books to pay for the, you know.
Trust me, I'm with you.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that one would just be the cost, we would hire a company to come in and take care of that. For
That
the,
would be a simple project.
right,
Seriously.
Tiling projects we completed, Mark, they're working okay?
The what?
Didn't we do some tiling out there a year or so ago?
Just on 13th,
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's working okay?
so we haven't had much rain, we did a wet year, you know, really, I mean,
So it's working well?
yeah, it's these small rains. You get a year where, no one's complaining on Mariah Drive right now,
right,
No,
no
it's
rain,
not, yeah.
no rain. It's been dry, yeah.
it's been dry for how many years?
So we wanna update that one. The 80,000 for
So
Mariah.
as far as just getting probably a quote is what you're saying,
Yeah.
right?
We just get an engineer update.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good, just to make sure that we're feeling good about that number. I mean, cause we have seen actually, I thought we've been seeing things coming
Lower.
lower than
Yep.
anticipated, so, you know, that'd be good to know if that's something
I-
we could expect,
When
but,
you say lower, you're talking about the construction project we bid?
yeah,
Well, you have an engineer's estimate, which was increased year over year, and then you bid, so that lower number I would say based on estimate,
sure.
yeah.
I mean, we have 80, you know, hopefully all of a sudden it comes in at 70, I don't know. Let's see, water treatment facility plant, well, obviously, we know that's gonna be kicked down the road.
Yep.
However, we had the conversation around, phasing, the phased approach. Do we have to factor that into this plan as far as the discussion around phasing that in?
No, that's not in this, I don't, I think we're waiting on a couple things. Mark, you're talking about the water treatment, right?
Well, right,
Yeah.
we know that we would kick that down the road.
Yeah.
But phasing in like the well, the decommissioning of the old well, the
Water
ground
tower.
tower, or
Yeah,
we actually talked about water tower, you know.
I think we need roughly 400,000 for that part. For the first phase, essentially. We are working through, with the feds on that right now.
Okay.
I have a meeting on Monday, with that work plan. But I know Mark had some adjustments that he was working through on the plan and like the presentation, he had some questions and stuff. So
Okay.
I think there is still more to come, is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
So could we have that broken out then in this plan as
No.
far, no?
I don't really have all the information yet.
No, like when you do. Like when you do
We,
get the
when we do,
information.
yes, we
Yeah,
can put that,
like,
yes.
Throw it in as like the phased approach, kinda how we discussed.
Yeah, yep, we can. I
Cause
mean,
the
it's-
reality is it's gonna be a phased approach, it's not gonna be.
Yeah,
you know,
I
the-
mean,
the actual treatment center is gonna come in probably, unless we
Later.
get lucky,
Yeah.
years from now,
Right.
so.
Nope, absolutely. We just don't have that yet.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that that's being pushed down, but then once we have some more details around like, hey, this is what it would look like, phased approach, then throwing some numbers on those phases,
Yeah.
so we know, more realistically what to expect.
Well, and the other thing is too, is like the federal side of it, it moves at a snail's
Right.
pace.
Yeah.
So I don't wanna do anything until I'm secure in that funding. We don't wanna make any of those final decisions until we know for sure that they're okay with that too as well. And I have a meeting on Monday, so I'll know more hopefully after that one.
I mean, the water tower reconditioning, we didn't do that.
No,
That we need to keep on a sooner than later list, I'm not saying.
So
Where's
was
that
that,
now?
so was that then levied or budgeted last year, or where's that money at?
well, that money is, all the enterprise fund money sits in its own pot. So that's your how many, what's it, 2.4?
It's there, it's
It's
just-
there.
Okay.
There's funds there, yep.
It's earmarked,
It's there, so that's essentially, all the CIP and, operating money in the enterprise funds is their own pot.
okay,
Cause all revenues all revenues that we charge people go into that same fund.
okay.
So it's there, just do you wanna spend it, you have cash balance there to spend. How much?
That gives us a little flexibility on our tax levies, that we could.
That, the water and sewer does not have anything to do with tax levy.
No, not the water and sewer.
Yep.
I'm talking about everything else, so, that we're looking at the equipment and all that we could move.
That we just talked about with the
Right,
CIP,
right,
that's the tax levy,
right.
yep, correct. But I do think that, we might have to look at that number too again, for the water tower.
Reconditioning?
I don't know when's the last time we looked at it,
Again,
been a
yeah,
couple
these
years.
numbers, they change.
Couple years.
yeah. But I would anticipate that's gonna come, the water tower is gonna come before the
Before
plant.
the other things.
Before the big
Oh,
plant.
yeah, oh, yeah.
It's gotta be the
plant
well,
is
the
years from
condition,
now,
yeah.
as
Right.
far as I'm
It's-
concerned.
It's whether we wait to do the water tower reconditioning till we get the new tower, whatever we're getting up. Problem is, that's what, 3 years out till we see a tower in service?
Yeah,
We're really overdue already for reconditioning, so,
I mean, is there a discount if the same company that's coming to put one up reconditions the other one? I don't know.
Right.
yeah,
I don't know about that leveraging a bid or not, but.
yeah. The disadvantage right now is we won't have a tower for 2 months in the summer. You operate off wells.
Yeah.
So that's your,
Oh,
Would there be a concern with like super dry conditions like we had and that would be really sketchy?
yeah, no, that's, but with our water use right now, we'd be fine. It's,
Right.
if also knew we were a high user, or of course fire protection, but, many cities, Rice went through it. I
Yep.
mean, everyone's had their plan, you send it out, get a fire and you call everybody. You go to St. Cloud to fill or whatever.
okay,
We should probably update that one though.
maybe get an update.
Yeah.
And, I mean, again, when we were talking about that phased approach with the gentleman 2 meetings ago, if we went that phased approach, we could talk about doing they'd start the water tower in the summer and it'd be completed by the following end of summer.
I think they said. it was
And that
like-
included the well too.
I thought it was, I thought it was like 3 years for usage, wasn't it?
Tower was a full 2-year
Or
project,
2?
Right.
but we haven't even started any, whatever, so you're, how long out?
And we can't start anything till we have the go-ahead from
We need answers.
the feds, yeah. I don't wanna say yes to a project and all of a sudden, oh, sorry, you don't get the 2 million.
Right.
That's gonna be a
Okay.
problem.
I mean, do we have to worry about, Does the sewer fund, water fund, none of these numbers affect the levy, correct?
Right.
I mean, this is just,
This is what you charge the water and sewer rates, your
Sure.
trunk, your whack and sack, that stuff.
I mean, we don't really need to get too involved in conversation then with these items that are on the CIP, or,
I think you need to be aware of these items on the CIP. Like right now, we're kind of in the middle of a meter project, so, you know, that's gonna have to keep going. But like, I don't know where you're at with Oak Drive sewer.
Would love to do it, you know, we're not gonna do a full reconstruction of that road in, it's gonna be what, 10+ years?
Yeah.
That's, I mean, maybe more, and we know we've had, you know, over the years, I mean, if we really aren't gonna do it, maybe, just to line it is well under half of that. It's just, if we're gonna do you do 5 feet into each service, it doubles your price, so that's a high price. I mean, we can line it for 70,000, like we did Cottage Grove.
Oh,
But if
yeah.
we wanna, I wanna talk to Craig from Sauk Rapids, they did one, they went 5 feet into every sewer. I heard it double, I mean, it adds a lot of money, but we know we have root issues on Oak.
yeah. Okay,
So that's why it's
Basically
higher.
more info on that one, probably.
Yep, more.
Keep it
That
there.
number is high, I mean, to be honest, the guy was here checking how Cottage Grove went. He said, here, I'm just gonna give you a price, and I just looked, it was, you know, under 70.
okay.
But didn't we have issues with Cottage Grove, but we were talking years ago, by not spending the money up front?
Yeah,
Okay,
right, but if we're gonna do Oak, we gotta do a full road, we're not gonna just do the sewer
right.
and.
So it could be, this number could be close then,
Shouldn't be any higher than that. yeah.
okay.
I mean, in the perfect world, you do the sewer and you do a mill and overlay on Oak and it'd be good for 18 years or something,
Right.
you know.
I just don't wanna repeat mistakes.
Yeah, no, I'd say you do a mill and overlay and then you know, we know the drive surface is terrible. You don't do a rebuild of it. But that's not gonna happen next year, so.
Is the generator similar to the compressor, kind of as, you know, in case of fire, break glass kind of a thing? When you need to go get one kind of a thing?
Yeah,
And we just kind of,
we don't quite have a good, you know, right now our main lift stations have generators at. But we still have ESU, which we may be putting more use on, so we better have a dedicated generator, which is that one.
okay,
You know, Balder is up in the water. In Lane, we don't have one either. So
there's areas we don't even have any at all.
we have only pull behind generators.
Okay.
But those can go, ESU can go hours right now,
Okay,
you know. Lane can go a few hours.
so then with this generator then request for 27, could that be
It's
as
not
needed?
It's not gonna happen next year. We gotta come up with that one there, we were getting more 480 volt, and that one's not capable, so we need to have a game plan, what we really need for generators in Foley, so.
Okay,
It won't happen next year, I'll promise you that.
okay,
I mean, we need the placeholder, but
sure, yep,
it's not gonna happen next year.
So we could push it.
push
Oh,
that.
yeah, it's not gonna change.
It's not gonna change anything.
Change
right?
anything.
Yeah, it won't
We're
change the
really gonna
levy,
be
it
at
just,
levy.
That's right,
It's not gonna change anything.
just
so.
stays on there as
That
a,
90 is a good generator.
You gotta realize all this
Um,
stuff's coming to you guys before it is
Yep.
purchased when it's
Yeah.
on this capital.
and then swimming pool fund,
I think we just have a couple smaller items.
but this would come out of general, because there's not enough money in the
Nope,
swimming,
it'd come out of the swimming pool fund.
but there's not enough money in the swimming pool fund.
Correct, it levies every year because it's a special revenue fund, which means it has significant revenue sources, but not enough. So that's where that capital that I have on the bottom of the swimming operating levy is not enough, but, we're just trying to slowly get it back up to where it needs to be. I don't think we anticipate the basin yet for quite some time,
Hopefully.
so that's the big one that we're nervous about. These, you know, equipment stuff, that's not the big issue.
Can we get another year out of the slide that's there?
You might get a year, cause by the time we do it now, part of it, there's two things, you know, obviously, we know there's numerous water runs through it, leaks you can't. The other thing is the supports, they're fine yet, but if you go look at some of the supports are
Yeah.
getting tired on it, I'll say. The structural support of it.
I'm just saying if we push it to next year,
Yeah, it is on next year.
okay, but like 2028, no? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change this won't change the
This
levy.
will change
Ain't gonna
levy.
change
This
it.
one will.
So, okay, so what you have in the pool operating levy is it's different, cause pool has its own cash balance. It has enough cash. So you have we have a 30,000 in the pool. If we
Okay.
were to reduce that to 20 or 10, that would
Got it.
impact the levy.
Got it.
Okay.
But my concern is, I just wanna be careful, cause the overall CIP is calling for more, so you keep
Yeah.
underfunding that.
Right.
The pool basic comes and you don't have enough money.
Yeah.
So that's the only concern, but that's up to you
Okay.
guys.
No, I was just curious.
What's the pool improvements? Is that just general maintenance?
That is pool drains we have to do.
Okay.
Virginia Grand Baker Law or whatever. So, I don't know, that could even happen this fall, but I'd rather hope we can do it in spring, cause you have to drain it down.
Yeah.
Problem is, our people in St. Paul keep changing the finish line. So, unfortunately, what we would've done last year now has gone up considerably in price. Nobody saw it coming. So. And that was midsummer when I talked to Horizon Pool. He said, hey, could we look at stuff this spring? And he's like, don't even try to do it now. He said they changed the laws and let them, maybe, they might get them to change it back.
Okay.
More reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our levy already includes some money for pool. That was at 20,000.
Yeah, I don't know that you're gonna get much for that anyway, yeah. You're talking very little. if
Here's
you
this
change.
question. Just
Yeah,
curious.
our kids use that pool slide, I hate to have trouble,
Yeah.
Well, right,
you
yeah.
know.
I think and I'll get a quote on a pool slide. What is one? It's like the Park Place structures. You can't get parts no more.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
let's
But-
get a real quote on it.
Right.
I might come in at 80, they might tell me, no, I'm not getting it for 5 years.
And then, fire fund, generator,
Nope. Oh,
and roof. Which I know the roof, we've been kicking down that
the
one
roof.
down too.
Eventually, I guess, say here, where we gotta do it, cause we're just getting further behind on stuff, so.
Is there gonna be a time where we need to do, an expansion on the fire hall?
Well, we'll have to look with everything in the law, when we do a facility plan or something, or, I don't know if we look at a storage shed out back or something, be cheaper, or,
As long as we don't need a ladder truck.
I hope that day
Not for a
doesn't,
long time.
I hope that day doesn't come. I mean,
Not until we're all retired.
Did you find
well,
your,
they're expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
we already bought one, didn't we?
No,
What did we just buy? Didn't we just buy a new fire truck?
Yeah, this would be a ladder truck.
What did we just?
Oh.
Yeah.
2020
did you
was-
buy a tanker?
Oh, a tanker, tender,
Yeah.
water tender.
But
a
the
tender,
tanker,
yeah.
Yeah, water, I'm sorry.
That was expensive, wasn't it?
They're all
$400,000?
expensive,
Yeah.
they're all
expensive.
expensive.
A new ladder, 1.75,
Yep.
maybe
Yeah,
1.8. We would never get a new one, don't worry.
Did you get your J5 Bombardier?
No, and I say that's another one we've been trying, we finally budgeted more. I'm working hard, I'm hoping to maybe have something by the end of the year. Working with the Department of Natural Resources, so.
How's the generator? I mean, do we have a generator and it's just a matter of needing a new one?
We don't have one.
Don't have one?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we're looking at all the
What of this comes from the levy?
So the fire does have their special revenue fund as well. So they are, what are they at? They're just, and the only reason they're 1% is because I rounded up the CIP number. Otherwise, it's like a net zero from last year.
Just make it a whole dollar.
Yeah, I hate dealing with, we
Sure.
just do whole dollars for the CIP levy. where's my sheet? Oh, here it is, okay. So they're 126,369 in the levy dollars needed.
Okay.
But they bring in significant money, but they have significant expenditures too.
Yep.
Yeah.
We spelled out some more this year. And there's things like the radios, hopefully we'll get a grant, but again, we can't count on a grant. You know, turnout gear we put in there, we never had any, last time we got a grant for them all, well, no, we had, what's the name bought them, there's, you know, air packs, we had a grant last time. Is FEMA's trying to make the grants really hard too, I will advise you that. I look forward to not having to do those no more someday.
Okay. What material is the fire hall roof?
So we're okay with leaving that 30 and that 100, where it's at, 27?
What's that?
What?
Generator and the road.
For next year, yeah.
You don't need to do radios until 28.
We had no room for next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, would it be nice to do some mobiles next year? Again, here.
Portable and mobile, okay.
I think my portables are better than my mobiles. You see, we have a few of them that are.
And same thing, you need to have some encrypted ones.
Fire will have some encrypted.
Okay.
So I'd say, right now, so we're at like 5 point, if we count the new tax capacity.
It was like 5.18.
Yep, 5.1. If you add in what the new tax capacity like would allow for, but on paper. My handy dandy calculator, it's like 7.5, is that right? So it's 7.5, but with the new construction, it's an average of 5.1% across the board. Are
Just
you happy
leaving-
with that?
So leaving the rest of it as it is.
Yep. That's what those CIP changes we made.
And that's adding full-time officer?
Full-time officer and a public works.
Okay.
So you gotta remember, public works is split between, general levy dollars and then water and sewer. You know, cause they work in all different.
So we're getting our extra officer, we already had the officer, we're just making it easier to keep them here. And full-time, and an extra public works. I mean, I don't know, I didn't see there's nothing else glaring that this has to change. I mean, there are plenty of these things that we have continued to kick down the road, you know, so at some point you just have to do it, you know, i.e. the roof.
Yeah, I mean, remember, you can't go up, but you can go down.
Right. So I mean, this is just kind of the almost preliminary in a way. We still have an opportunity to
Could still
go
cut
down.
it further, yep.
I mean, we have opportunity to work with Lions Club on, you know, possibly reducing that 10,000 to 5,000.
Yeah.
That'll bring us into starting
So
with a 4.
It's going to
Yeah.
come across on paper as like 7.5%.
Right, as it sits right now,
Yeah, because that is the increase in.
because we can't include that other stuff.
But like we know there's almost 4 million in new construction that's coming
Yeah.
up. And that, you know, the following year, also I would anticipate we'd have a little bit more coming on because we had some other different projects that went.
Right.
So we're going in the right direction.
Well, that 7.5 is a pretty comfortable number, I think.
Pretty good number from.
I'm seeing double digits
I would say better than
elsewhere.
what I've been seeing.
What did we say St. Cloud was, 11?
11.7.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I had an admins meeting today with the league and everybody's struggling.
Oh.
you know, it's tough.
I mean, I feel like we're getting a lot accomplished and we're,
Well, we still have to increase water, you
yeah.
know,
What does it go from 74 to 78?
79, yeah.
79.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like $4. It ends up being like $4 a month.
But the only fee is that, and then if we do the pool swim lessons, so that's what I'll bring forward.
Sure.
And I think with the swimming lessons, people would pay for those.
We
at
talked,
86.
we talked about it at the staff level, and we kinda thought that was a better place to go than the admission, just based on our sessions and the time periods of the swim.
We also do have a lot of people that come from outside the area to the Foley Pool
Yep.
because of the price of the lessons, because they can't get them for
Yeah.
that price in other areas.
And they're Red Cross certified lessons versus the YMCA are not Red Cross certified. So my sister-in-law drove her kids out for that reason alone.
Do we have to factor then anything on the CIP as thinking about parks for the South Fairway Estates?
So that's on for next year, or the 2028.
Okay,
If you saw, there was a placeholder for a place set out there.
yeah,
What we've talked about internally is trying to get that kind of rough together and seeded maybe is the first step, and
Yeah.
then you come around. It's gonna be a slow process.
well, yeah, I wouldn't expect anything to be the year one, but hopefully within, the first few years.
And we don't really know exactly how that's gonna all lay out.
Well, yeah,
yet.
you'd like to see what it's all gonna look like when it's finished.
Yeah.
And then kind of from there know what you can do there, size-wise and everything. But just
Might want,
thinking, we're gonna have to earmark, that.
might want phase 2 in before you do it too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking, phase 2, I
It
feel.
might just be it gets kinda roughed in, and then as it comes, the place that's maybe few years,
Yeah.
that's just a possibility of new construction.
Yep.
But we do have something in there, a placeholder for.
50,000 does not buy you much for park play structures.
No, it
That's
does
what we
not.
say. That
It buys you
60,000
like
one I was
one
telling you
thing.
about, and it's a swing, I don't know, 2 things like that, and I can't remember what the fourth
Sure,
thing is.
yeah.
I've been researching.
It's crazy expensive.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I will prep the levy for the 7.5, unless I hear differently, if that's the consensus, we think.
I think it's pretty good.
I mean,
Palatable.
I thought that was a good number, and knowing that it will actually be a little less because of what will be coming on.
Yeah, that was
On paper, it's that.
yeah, so that is what, I always look at, the new construction, I get that directly from the county assessor.
Yeah.
And he always highlights that for us, so
And-
that we
and
know
hopefully we
exactly, because
continue
that's
to
the number we're
see-
always looking for.
New construction
Yeah.
and bringing.
Well,
things
and you
in.
can see it, you know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You can see the new buildings. And it costs a lot of money to build some of those new buildings, so that's
Mhm.
helpful, for our sake at least.
Yeah, power of, development and,
Mhm.
growing.
Okay, do we have any other questions with your stuff, or
I don't think so.
I need a mental break?
I mean, was there anything on, from here that we wanted to discuss or that you need from us?
I don't think so.
I mean, you're just highlighting things in here, slides, generators, some of the donations that we do for our local nonprofits,
Yeah.
the treatments, storage and such, okay.
We just kind of try to give you the high levels on what the assumptions we did with the budgets, and, we'll keep you posted too on the, numbers we're waiting for.
Yeah.
And, part of that insurance number is the new employees too.
Yes.
I don't know if we've mentioned that specifically.
So, what I did with the new employee insurance information is, since we don't know the demographics of the new employees, I just took an average of the employees that we already had and put that in as their insurance. It could be much lower, it could be higher, but just as an average of what we already have for our current employees, to rough in a number.
Great.
I don't think I need any more.
Okay.
I think we're good.
If there's nothing else, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
So, that's for the control. That's the old one.
Oh, that's.
Yeah,